Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Afternoon FM. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest. She is the mother of the garden ship, Kasia. I still don't know how to pronounce your last name.
All right, so we were just talking about your last name, right?
Yes.
So
we're at a mutual basis.
I understand the struggle, but do you want to try?
Skorynkiewicz.
Very close. Skorynkiewicz.
Skorynkiewicz.
I am Americanizing it a little bit.
Okay.
You know,
my
full name is, if I were in Poland, I would say Kasia Skorjrysnwhwmqthyrwicz.
Okay.
But here I'm Kasia Skorynkiewicz.
Okay.
Kasia's a nickname for Katarzyna. And then I just kind of...
Which is Kathleen or Catherine.
Yeah, kind of funny because on all my paperwork it's Kasia Skorynkiewicz. So it's difficult in this world. Everyone's like, oh, that's a beautiful name. I'm like, yeah, but most of you can't pronounce it. But when I was about 10, my mom's like, do you want to legally change your name? And I was like, yes, Amanda. And she's like, no. And I'm like, Jessica. She's like, no. And it was another one of those like typical, I don't know, 90s name that was popular. My mom's like, no, it would have to be something like Catherine or Kathleen or Kathy. And I'm like, I don't feel like any of them. I feel like a Kasia. So Kasia is a nickname for Katarzyna. Okay. But Kasia stuck.
I like that. No, I like that. I don't actually have the surname of Zeitoun. I actually went back. My last name is really Oliver. And I went back to my grandfather's original last name.
That's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't because it was like, partially because like, he was like the dude that kind of got us like settled in America, and he changed his name when they got to Ellis Island, and then we were Olivers, and we built up the name, and like But then my dad kind of fumbled the ball, and I was like, I don't really want to carry this guy's fucking legacy.
Wait, so how did Oliver come out of that name?
Zeitoun is Arabic for the word olive. Yeah, so when you so it's basically like Olivier, or like I don't know.
It's a beautiful name.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. That makes sense. So, Dad is from Lebanon.
Yes. My grandfather's from Lebanon. My dad's from fucking New Jersey.
Jersey.
I'm American. Yeah.
Jersey in the house.
From Patterson.
P-Town.
My mom is Irish.
Irish and Lebanese, and they met here, or they met in. Hold on. Let's make up a story.
Okay.
They met in Ellis Island. She was the person stamping his passport, and she's like, "You can't keep this name. What should it be?" And he was like,
"Damn it!" He's like, "This is all I have."
Oliver.
Yes.
And then she's like, "I love that name," and they got married.
Yes.
Is that how it happened?
Crazy sex, unprotected.
Right there.
Yes. On Ellis Island. There's a lot of unprotected sex happening at Ellis Island.
Oof.
And a lot of bad sewage. I remember when I was a little kid, I went to Ellis Island, and they gave us like the whole tour. Mm-hmm. Where they're like, this is where most of the immigrants were coming into America. I was like, word. And I remember watching the documentary, and I was just remembering how everybody was complaining about the bathroom system at Ellis Island. So, so freedom and bad toilets.
Yeah, well, at least you got somewhere to shit. If you're on that boat, right? Where are you going?
In a hole? For
in
America, somewhere to shit.
Somewhere to shit. Yeah. So I lived in South Korea for a year, and sometimes there was just holes in the ground depending on where you traveled to. Ooh. If you're in a city, obviously there's a toilet, but like if you go in like really, really rural areas, there will just be a hole in the toilet, and you squat over it.
Word.
So America.
I went through that as well. When I was living in the woods, I lived in Northern California for 6 years.
Huh. And, after LA?
Which is crazy because you would think that after LA. So I went up and grew pot and like shot a pot documentary.
Oh, is that out somewhere?
Yes, it's called Marijuana Paradise.
Wait, I can watch it somewhere?
Yes, if you.
This is the best plug. This is the best plug that never meant to happen.
It's a long story. It was a very good starter movie because I learned a lot on Marijuana Paradise because it's like the team I realized when we were doing Marijuana Paradise that like with a film you have to like the director has to be like it can't be like everybody's got a different fucking idea of what the picture should be or like so it was weird because there was a lot of breakage within the team and it was like it was my Russian family. So my Russian brother, like, he knew all the spots.
When you say that, who do you mean? Because you've said that to me before, and I just want to make sure anyone that's listening. So you're Lebanese, you're Irish, there's Russian in you now. What the fuck?
There's some Russians. Yeah, the Russians are actually the most responsible part of my family.
So are they like adopted family or family? Okay, yeah. So like they just took you in.
When I was 21, when I moved out to LA, for the first couple of years, I was like, but then I met this like really wonderful family, and they took me in and like I had like the first home cooked meal that I had like when I was on the West Coast, and I still work with them. They're like my family. You know what I mean?
I love Russians in Los Angeles. There's a big Russian population,
yeah.
And I had one that was. I also lived in Los Angeles. I had one as a neighbor, and she was old school, but she like walked around like this, the war was still going on, that the winter was here,
yes.
And we live in sunny LA, and she's been in the country for 30 years, but still walking around like she's fucking hardcore Russia, down, mean looking, but they're really not.
Yeah.
I've gone to garage sales with like older Russian ladies in LA. And they're like $5, and I'm like, no. Sometimes they would speak Russian to me. I would speak Polish back to them, because not that it's
not that too crazy.
It's not. We could get the gist, but not necessarily like, Ukrainian.
It's like Puerto Rican and like Dominican, a
right?
Little bit. Yeah.
Well, and
You're like the Dominicans of Russia.
So I would haggle. They're like $5. They would say it in, Russian. I'm like, nie, $4. And they're like, oh, okay, 3, yes. And then they would speak English to me. Like, I would just have to like, so anyway, I would haggle with people that, I love haggling, period.
You like to haggle? I like haggling.
I do.
Yeah, I do too. I like to do it when there's no stakes, though. It's like my favorite one.
I'm like,
like when you go to like the flea market. Yeah, like the.
If it's $2, I'm gonna be like, how about $1? Because I'm a.
You're like the Gary V.
Okay, so I'm thinking this is my train of thought to anyone that's judging me right now, that. If you don't ask, you won't know. So if I could save $1 on something amazing, I will. Matt, I'm leaving with like 4 rolls of paper, and you're like, you want this? And I'm like, free? Free for me is what I want.
Well, you have the space to use it. So
true.
We're going to get into guardianship a little bit later. Let's keep it chronological.
Oh.
So, all right. So you grew up where?
All right. So, I guess we did start with my name. I did not come from on Ellis or to Ellis Island, but I did come from...
Ellis Island came on me. Ellis came on me.
I kind of want to yell what you said earlier, but it's not going to make...
What? Oh. Oh, my God! That's gonna be a whole bit. That's gonna be a whole bit.
Yeah, I'm like,
I want to film it so badly, but you know what the thing is? What I love about that whole story is I couldn't see the person. That it was all just trees and it was just light.
Darkness, and then you just heard the voice.
Yeah, and then when the light actually came, like the flashlights and the red and blues. I love you guys. It was the beat. The beat. This will all be in light soon, listeners.
Okay. Should you just tell the story now?
Man. All right.
I don't know.
Okay. We're gonna go from swallow my cum to like, so where'd you grow up? What was it like in elementary school? If you want to go with these chronological, I'm totally fine.
Now, so we did that. Yeah. Okay. So we're doing it. So yes.
You want to hear the story? All right. Fine with me. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen.
Where did swallow my cum come from? Well, this is what I heard earlier. That's why I know the story. I was not a part of it.
This is the story, guys. So I had my acting final on Tuesday night. I did not study. I did not, don't really know actually how to memorize a monologue. It's just a lot of shit that goes on constantly. So it's very hard to find concentration. I had an epiphany that I should go to the banya and I should just like hone in on this, or I'm going to completely fail. So I was like, fuck it. Went to Banya. By the way, for anybody who is an actor or creative, if you want to get something completely dialed in or memorized, the Banya, especially monologues, because the Banya actually acts a little bit like a theater, because they're like raised seating, and then it's just hot as shit.
And I just want to make sure that if anyone's not sure what it is, it's a Russian spa.
Yes, Russian spa. There's a lot of Russia getting thrown into this.
I know.
Shout out to Prigozhin, 200 kilometers to Moscow. They're going to kill me for that. What's it called? But no.
You could edit it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. We'll change it in post.
A note to the editor. What's it called?
I just yelled in the microphone.
I wanted to practice the monologue. So this is the night before I went to Banya. It's around like 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why I was up that late, but I was like, all right, I got to get some sleep. Banya opens at 11. I'm going to go the whole day. Second I put my head down on the pillow, I hear, "You fucking bitch!" He's like, "Swallow my gum! Swallow my gum!" So I was like, I was like, homeless guy's getting some rough sex out now. Like, there's like a swath of, I don't know what a swath is. I don't know if that's a normal, that's more than one or whatever. But I don't know what the unit of measurement of a swath. But, there's like, there's the usual suspects will show up. They live along the riverbed.
Yes.
Just a little Sisyphusian of them, because it floods. And then they're just, everything they've accumulated just goes into the river. It's kind of, which is beautiful in a sense. They're like the Buddhist monks.
Oh my God, we need to fucking shoot this. This is wonderful.
It's beautiful. Anyway.
We're such weirdos.
Yeah.
We're like beauty and the debris washing off to the ocean.
Everything I've ever had is crazy.
And the homeless people losing everything. Aw.
To quote Jimi Hendrix, "And so castles made of sand drift into the sea. Eventually." Anyway, so I put my head down. Homeless guy's having rough sex. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let him get his nut out. He keeps yelling, whatever. I'm like, I'm going to say something. So then he's like, "You fucking bitch! Swallow my gum! Swallow my gum!" So I hear, and I'm like, damn, this guy's fucking pretty hard. I'm like, all right. And he's like, fuck my cock! Fuck it! And I'm like, and I hear, and I'm like, and then I hear he's like slapping the building. So I'm like, this doesn't sound consensual. So I'm like, okay, let me call the cops this morning. So I call the cops. And I'm like, hey, I can't tell if somebody is having really rough sex or getting raped behind the building. I'm like, but you should totally send somebody. And shout out to the Patterson police. I called them, and they're like, "Where are you, young man?" Like, angry at me for trying to stop somebody from getting raped. I'm like, here they are, here's my number, whatever. I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting for the, I'm like, okay, keeps going. Swallow my gum! Swallow my gum! Swallow my gum! Like kind of like, follow your nose, follow your nose, follow your nose, like the fucking the fucking tricks are for kids guy. So then I'm like, dude, fuck these fucking people. And then he's like, you narc! He's like, you rat! And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this guy's gonna climb the building. Yeah, I'm like, this guy's gonna climb the building and like murder me right now. And I'm like, but I hear like, ah! So then I'm starting to like listen to the sound of the
pitch,
and I'm like, this is one person.
Oh no!
I'm like this guy is crazy.
There is no girl. It's just one guy. It's
just one guy who's screaming, "Swallow my gum!" And then he goes whistling loud as shit. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So whistling, and he's like, "Swallow my gum! Swallow my!" Screaming into the river. Swallow my gum. So then I'm like, but then he goes back to like the normal. I'm like, okay, let me fucking. So then eventually I start to see flashlights to like hit the trees. I can't see this person. There's complete trees underneath the windows, and I see the trees get like flashlights, and he's still screaming, "Swallow!" He's like, "Fuck my cock, you fucking bitch!" Slapping the building, slapping this. Like basically alerting the police where he is. He's like, and then he's like, "Swallow my gum!" And then the flashlights turn to the left, and then there's a beat of silence, and then he just goes, "I love you guys." And I was like, oh my God, dude. I was like, And he's like, but I got really sad. And he was like, I hate my life. I hate my life. And then, I don't know, it was a little bit of rustling. And then I went out to this window and I'm trying to see what's going on. So then, you know, they bring him out and it's just a white guy who's wearing like fucking 4 hoodies in the summer for some reason. You know what I mean? They bring him out and then there's an ambulance and like 8 cops. And they throw him in the ambulance, and then, you know, they all skate away. Which is a little, you know what I mean? Like, I know, like, I'm the one who called the police, but, like, you know what I mean? That,
well,
I'm a little upset at America because, like, all he was doing was yelling, swallow my cum to a river. You know what I mean?
I know, if you think about it.
Then there's 8 people show up and throw him in an ambulance. What kind of Gestapo shit is that?
I know. What the fuck? Can't you just yell into the river?
Yeah, well, I mean, the river's swallowed worse than cum. So anyway,
on that
so what
note,
was your early life like? So what is it like being a young girl?
Great transition. Great transition. I love it. I love America. So actually, America. Fuck yeah. So, no, actually I do. I mean, obviously there's ups and downs to everything, but I do come from Poland, and it was communist Poland when I was born. I was born in 1981 in the winter of July, and men weren't allowed in the hospital. Like, they would have to, like, throw or hang a handkerchief out to let you know if it's a boy or girl. So the moms were inside this, you know, cold box delivering. And I was 3 weeks late, which doesn't happen here in America. They're like, no,
happens?
let's make a business out of it and give you a C-section.
Okay.
That's what happens now. So I came out, I had like black hair sticking up, and I was saying, yeah, which is no in Polish. So that was my start of...
no to life. You're like, nah.
Yeah. So Poland, I don't remember too many things about Poland because we moved to America when I was about 3.5, almost 4 years old, and we came to Chicago. And I have 3 memories in Chicago, and after that it was Jersey.
What part of Jersey from?
I grew up in North Arlington, so not far from here. Across the river, up a few towns. You know, NA, North Arlington?
Not really.
A lot of, oh, really?
No.
North Arlington, 1 square mile, next to Lyndhurst. Next town over is Harrison. Next town over is Newark.
Okay.
So, yeah, you should know because we always had like the...
Is there an Arlington?
I guess just Virginia, Arlington. So we're very north of Arlington.
Okay, all right.
1 square mile, and we have more dead people than alive because we have half of it is a cemetery.
Oh, okay. Is that like a gathering space for people in North Arlington?
Yes.
Yes? All right.
I don't think so, but I want to pretend so because I'm a witch at heart.
Okay. When did you start getting these witch life?
I feel like I was always a witch, but you know, like people talked down about it. I mean, people, I think about spirituality. Thank you. English is my second language. Nature, energy, and I think all of that, tarot, astrology, witchcraft, all of it I think is all pointing to the same thing. So I feel like I embody all of those, but to me that's a modern day witch. So when I
noticed that. Honestly, I don't know. It's weird noticing. I actually noticed it a little bit more in not even the acting class. Yeah. So yesterday we had an actual exercise where we had to see the energy that is around people.
Like aura, like a color.
Yeah, like an aura.
Maybe it's a shape. Maybe it moves. Maybe it's solid. Who knows?
So if you focus concentration on like say like either your hands or like you know, seeing your hands like out, there's like a little like smoky halo that is seen around like the hand. It's a very wasn't really aware of it, but you know.
So you looked at your own or other people's?
You look at other people and you look at
how did yours look like?
It's weird. I mean, I could technically do it now, but it's like it's like a small, like, kind of like a halo around.
Yes.
the hand.
What
So
color?
No, it's just, I mean, for mine, it's clear. I've been
Ooh,
seeing a
see,
lot
for
of
yours,
clear.
I saw yellow, like gold yellow.
Really?
I was looking at you. I don't know. And then I was looking at
I got
mine.
green yesterday from somebody.
I wonder if it changes.
Green a lot.
Me too. I wonder if it changes. I mean, like, everything changes, right? That's the only constant. Like, the air changes. When I do this, no one sees what I'm doing.
It's the beauty of the audio only.
People never know. I will never tell them
What is going on right now?
So yeah, anyway, maybe our energy, our aura, our color, they change. Maybe right now I'm picking up on gold yellow for you.
Because of,
I don't know.
maybe. Yeah, I
No,
don't know.
that's what I'm feeling. And
Yeah.
that's when you were looking at your hand, I was looking at your hand, I was looking at my hand. Yeah, so North Arlington dead people.
I love the transition. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start getting into art?
I think I was always a creative kid. And I don't know. Well, so your grandpa was first generation, so your dad was second generation. I'm first generation, and I'm saying this like because maybe other people could relate, but I was always creative. But because my family was first generation, my mom, it was her, I don't know, second language was English, so she never pushed us to go to classes, sign us up for stuff. So I never went to art classes, even though there was like something creative there.
Yeah.
Only when I was in, I guess, grammar school did I go into art enrichment classes. I don't know why I did that in quotes. That's because the art teacher saw it. So I think I was always creative, but I only developed later on. And even when I went to Seton Hall University for my undergrad for like TV and film, I got an associate's degree, an AA in fine arts, because I never took classes. So I was like, I'm in college. I want to learn this. Might as well get a little degree. I don't know what an AA does for anyone, but
No, it's just.
but like at least I took classes and I have whatever. I could have maybe gone sometimes no one tells you these kind of things. Maybe I should have done a double major. Maybe I should have transferred out. Anyway,
I don't really. I've been to I majored in business at one point, and then I didn't finish. And then I did culinary. I finished culinary, and then I did film, and now I'm a fine art major.
wait, so you're going to school?
I'm going to school and I'm doing acting right now.
Wait, I didn't know that.
I do too.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait.
I do too.
Okay,
I
so
do too,
really
school,
quickly, no, not quickly. We'll come back to the acting because I have more questions about the acting. What are you going to school for right now?
I take acting classes at ATC. Shout out to ATC. And I go to...
What does that stand for?
Action Theater Conservatory.
Cool,
This
cool,
is in
cool.
Clifton. It's been around since 1992.
Okay, cool.
yeah,
'Cause
it's-
it's so
it's-
close by.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
It's mostly you can meet. I was like, holy shit, there's an acting school
Good.
in Clifton. So I've been taking those courses. I was taking them when I first got here, and it was cool. I just took intro and other ones because when I was in LA, I was going to film school. I was a little envious of the theater program there because they were making things every day as opposed to the film program where it's this is an HMI and this is a Mickey Mole and this is a fucking this is a Gary Coleman and this is a C-stand and this is, you know what I mean? And it's you're just and you have access to the equipment and you're able to make a movie. You know what I mean? And you're oh, this is cinematography, this is upward frame, you know what I mean? This is chiaroscuro lighting. But the acting, the theater program was very intensive. It was you have to be there 6 days, and you're you have to produce a play. We made films when we were at the film school, but it was
Just felt different.
it was
different.
yeah, it was very not instructional, but it was this is what the government wants you to make. You know what I mean? The government's not going to teach you art. You know what I mean? But the government's going to teach you how to work a job. You know what I mean? Because they want. But it was cool. It was. I'd never throw shade on LACC. I was just kind of envious because I would like to do both of the damn programs, but you can only do one. So, but yeah, what's it called? found that there was an acting program in Clifton, and I started there, and I was doing like improv, and I did like playwriting and like intro, and I'm still like I'm not really predominantly an actor. I just do it because I wouldn't ever want to like tell anybody to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Okay. I like that point of view.
Like
well, you know,
if you don't know how an actor prepares, like what use are you as a director? You're just a fucking person with like, I have this vision, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, I'm like, all right, like I know what's actually like feasible. Like we can make things in a space with a finite amount of props, and it just really like when theater is film has a very grand spectrum where anything is possible. You know what I mean? It can go from animation and like, you know, cinema, or like, you know, even just a podcast. Like not podcasts. That's what I liked about it when I first started, was because it was like we're having a dialogue, we're having like conversation, and we can tell stories like that. Mm-hmm. Like swallow my gum. I mean that's a story. You know what I mean? But that's kind of like a standard bit. But to have that medium, like that's the beauty of film. That's when I like realized that I would do film for the rest of my life. Because I do a lot of photography and I make music, but I'm not like I'm gonna be a musician or I'm gonna be a photographer. It's like I want to be a filmmaker because I can take everything I learned from music and everything I learned from photography and everything I learned from painting and everything I learned from acting and anything I learned from, and you just fucking take it and you're able to like sculpt it into this beautiful, beautiful thing.
So I feel like you're like a true artist, true creative, right? Nothing is going to put you in a mold. I mean, I just posted a Instagram video and I recorded on my iPhone, not very well. I didn't have my microphone.
Good. I recorded that shit in the closet.
But like I recorded it from my MacBook, the video that I posted yesterday, and I put you there. That tune just stays with me. I don't know why. It's such an easy tune, but like you're so interdisciplinary, which I really like, and it doesn't matter. No one's gonna put you in a box, right? Like so, you're directing, you're shooting, you're editing, you're making music. Obviously, you're building spaces. Like we haven't even talked about where we are at now. Where we're at right now.
We're in a spider hole in the middle of a rock somewhere.
Ooh, that would be cool. Wait, am I the web or am I the spider or both?
You could be whoever you want.
I'm both.
This is a rock.
That's the location.
And I ran so far. You got it like a Ron. I always used to make that joke. But anyway, yes, we're at Phenotype Stages in the Prototype Patterson building, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this is a really fun space. I'm so happy I'm here. It's very inspiring. Obviously, different, but the feeling of community and creatives and energy and inspirational things. Like I love these chandeliers, all of them, but it's like very reminiscent of Gardenship and other spaces in Jersey.
Let's talk a little bit about Gardenship. We're gonna skip from like childhood and like whatever. But, like,
I mean, we could come back.
No. It's like how did you get into the Gardenship? Like,
yeah, I mean, listen, we could talk about everything and nothing all at once.
All at once.
Like I'm the spider and the. Yeah. So
even though they stole my bagel theory, that everything is technically a bagel. Not everything is a bagel, but pizza bagel bites. Yeah, this is a whole theory. I'm not going on another stand-up bit. But
okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, I do love me a gluten-free everything bagel from Trader Joe's. So I think I could understand. But so Gardenship, yeah. So
how'd you get linked up with Josh? We shout out to Josh Noblick, which is a great last name.
Yes, Josh Noblick, love Josh. Yeah. So fast forwarding really quickly from Poland to Chicago to Jersey, I lived in LA, and when I moved back from LA, I started getting into the Newark art scene. But then I went to South Korea for a year, so then I came back. Now I've been back 10 years, which I don't know how time does it. But so once I got back, I just started going to Newark art scene, Jersey City, Newark. and I just kept running into similar people, the same people, and then you just become acquaintances, and then you become friends. So I met Josh in the Newark art scene. I think it was at Index Gallery, and we always see each other around. And then 2020 happened, and they were doing pandemic projections and different projections on the outside of Gardenship, because it's like a 90,000 square foot warehouse full of art studios and a foundry and wood shop, and artists could build big things there. We have iron pours there, which is like so crazy if you've never seen it before. But anyway, so pandemic projections was happening because of 2020. People would drive. It was like a drive-in screening, kind of like In7 continues to be. So the screening. And I was speaking to Gianluca Bianchino and Jean Brasil. Both of them are artists, Newark-based. Neither of them are in Newark anymore, but just anyway, they're two artists and a curator. And they're like, Josh is looking to do more something like pandemic projections. You should get in touch with him. So I got in touch with him, and I was like, he's like, yeah, come in for a meeting. Let's talk about like what we could put up on, what we could do during this time. So I came up with a few concepts, and one of them was, what about shooting like artsy videos in 7 days? I'm like, I always liked the idea of a 24 film challenge, but to me that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
I
don't feel like the work is really like worth it.
I mean, that's a lot. That's hard. That's no one's sleeping. Listen, people have done it.
Like the work is worth it. Not only the work is worth it. It's just like, I get it. It's like, all right, we gotta like really have our shit together. You know what I mean? But like,
and maybe people need that, but
there's no improv culture at that point. You're like, you within In7, I found like what I really like about it is that it's
there's time to breathe.
You're reactionary. You're not I am here and like we need to get this done. You know what I mean? It's like there's the deadline like pressure of it, but it's like it's reactionary. Like, what can we do? What can we do?
Yeah, and Gwen, when I was interviewing Gwen Charles, one of the artists from this year's In7, she mentioned the idea of, I'm always talking about site-specific, site-specific videos created at Gardenship in 7 days. That's the premise of In7. But she was also saying site responsive, and I really love that. You're responding to the site and what it brings to you. Yeah. Obviously, specific is the same idea, but there's something different about being responsive, and kind of goes into what you're saying. 24 hours. If I was going to do a 24-hour film challenge, I would already have my script, my actors, everything. It would be basically a shoot day.
Yeah.
So I would have everything, like I have a call sheet, and I'm like, everything is scheduled for that 24 hours. Get it to the editor. Editor has a couple hours, some sound design, maybe not even, I don't know. 24 hours seems like very short. So anyway, I was like, that seems a little short, but how about, creating a video here in Gardenship, safely being apart, because it was 2020, still wearing masks, but like since it's 90,000 square feet, and Josh only recently acquired that building, so there was less stuff and less residents. It was like what it was in 2020. We always like dream. We're like, nuts. We had so much space, so much more space, it was different.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but we're also from the art scene. So like, I'm like, I don't necessarily want it to be a film festival. I don't really want it to be like totally narrative. So I'm like, what about experimental video art, right? Like video art could be anything. But like, so we were under the premise of like art.
Yeah.
Because we both come from that world. So, that kind of was the top of the ideas that I came with Josh, and he's like, can you do it? I'm like, I think I could do it. And then we just started planning and doing it. So this year was the fourth iteration. We started in 2020, so 2020, 2021, 2022. This is
And
our
we're in the future. Wait, so how is it the fourth one if we're in 2023?
I know, that's the thing. You have to count. So 1 in 2020, 2 in 2021, 3 in 2022, and this is our fourth. We're not in the fourth year. It's our fourth iteration.
Okay.
I know. Isn't that weird? Isn't math weird?
Not math. Yeah, wait. Do that again.
1 in 2020.
Okay.
That was our first one in August. 2021.
2021.
2022.
2022.
And here we are, the fourth iteration in 2023.
Oh, okay.
Is that weird?
I don't know how that worked.
I don't know either.
I've seen it twice, and I still don't know how that works.
Okay,
Like,
so
one
I'm
in 2020, one
I'm
in
counting on my
2021.
fingers too, like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So it's not the fourth year.
Yeah.
It's the fourth iteration, the fourth.
Huh.
Weird, right? Math, years. I don't know how old people, like old people are like, back in 1968, the sky was blue and I was wearing a t-shirt and and I'm like, I don't even remember what did I do yesterday?
I don't remember what I did yesterday.
And half the time I'm like, what day is it?
Yeah, no, it's
There's too many days.
I feel like as not even as I get older, I feel like as I get more busy, I feel like more like a grandpa with like dementia. Like I'm like 3 appointments away of like covering myself in ranch dressing in like a Costco fucking like parking lot. I'm serious. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I got Saturday. I'm like, but I feel like I got something on Saturday.
See, I think I'm pretty organized, but I still drop the ball.
No, I don't know. People are like, they show me their apps. They're like, everything is on this app. And it's
I use calendars. I use reminders. I use a timer to get out of the house on time, even though in my personal life, I'm always like 10 minutes late. But in my professional life, I'm never late. I'm either 10, 20 minutes late and I still use a timer to be like, ding,
you're on, like,
ding,
artist
ding,
time, which
ding,
is, like, not
ding,
real
ding. Oh, I got to leave the house. I snooze. And then like 8 minutes later, I'm still putting on my shoes and my alarm clock goes off. Ding, 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 ding. And that's how I get out of the house like a maniac. Doesn't seem so. It doesn't seem so artsy flowy, right?
Swallow my gum.
That should be my alarm ringtone.
That would be, yo.
I would leave the house automatically.
Be like, oh, all right.
I don't want to hear that ringtone again, so I'm gonna leave right now. I don't even have my shoes on.
As soon as you open the door, there's just an ambulance. It's like, take me to jail.
So
I love you guys.
Oh my God.
I love you guys.
I know. I mean, listen, you know.
If he was like, I'll be here all week.
Oh my God.
Thank you guys. I'll be here all week.
You know, okay, we're going to segue just because I have a question.
No.
You know, we're in Patterson. Patterson gets a bad rap, obviously,
It's
you know.
beautiful, though. I'm champion of Patterson.
I know.
It's like, it's, you know what I like about it is it's not like a learning curve. It's like, like there's people who will be like, cities. It's like, but it's like, dude, I don't know, man. It's, if you can't, it is not a city. Like Newark kind of has it. Newark has it a little bit. I feel like Newark is like kind of our sister city, where it's like, you know, I mean, like if you want to get into trouble, you'll get into some crazy trouble. You know what I mean? But like for the most part, if you're just going and you're going about your business and you're just trying to get what you need to go and get, or you want to go here, you want to go over here, you know what I mean? You're totally fine. You know what I mean? It's just like, but you have to like not put off the vibe of like, I don't know. But then again, it might be a little different for me because I love this. I think.
But you also
so
grew up
beautiful.
here.
Yeah. I love.
And
this city.
generations, 2 generations.
Beautiful,
Grandpa,
yeah. But like,
he
even South
settled
Patterson.
here?
What's up? Yeah.
Oliver settled here.
The Oliver settled in Patterson. Yes, and West Patterson as well. West Patterson's a little bit nicer. It's like,
They're not called West Patterson anymore.
They're called Woodland Park.
Yeah, it's still WP.
Because the poor wanted to make 3 points on fucking on all.
Oh, I know all about Woodland Park. Not too much, but WP.
Elmwood Park, East Patterson. Elmwood Park made a little bit of sense. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I
Yeah.
just learned something today,
Elmwood
guys.
Park is East Patterson.
I wonder.
But East Patterson, like, I kind of got the East Patterson part because East Patterson is like, woof, like, East Patterson gets some crazy shit.
Does it?
Yeah, you know, you can get some crazy shit, but the West Side Patterson's never really that bad.
Like, you know,
actually, it depends. So shit goes down on you.
See, I don't want to segue even more, but here we go.
No, it's all right.
I really enjoy all your photos that you take because you take them just mundane Patterson moments, but are there any mundane Patterson moments in life? Also, thing about Patterson, I don't think you could be soft here.
Yeah, it's
you can't just like be like, oh, hello everyone, like you know, like someone.
Oh. Actually, you can.
Where was I?
You can, but you have to approach it in the right way. Like,
you can't be naive. You have to have your street smarts.
Yeah, but
and you have to like know how to the vibe that you're talking about. Like you got to walk like you belong. Like you don't get fazed by this shit that you see, and
you can give a fucking you know.
Like no one probably fucks.
That's the beauty of the photos, is because
no one fucks with you, right?
No, I've never been fucked.
And also, you have a camera.
Weird. I feel.
And you have a camera, so that's like you're a little bit more aggressive because you have that camera, and you might be pointing it at some people.
Be able to take. That's the beauty of it, is that it's a dance. It's not a dance in the sense of I'm dancing with these people. It's a dance of.
But that should be a photo.
All right, so like. I will acknowledge and I'll see the moment, and I understand when the moment is here, and when I'm in that moment and I'm with that person in that fraction of a second. Like, you know what I mean? I can notice how the sun is hitting this person, and I know where they will sit, or I know if they're tired. I will like analyze that, and you know, you can find beautiful moments and you will develop relationships. Because I have one guy who's like this. He's just like a normal homeless guy. But he's really nice. Drinks a lot of Mad Dog 2020. I see him in front of Bank of America.
I have not drank that since high school.
Not a Mad Dog. the dog's out. So
I wish the dog would come back right then when they heard me. Oh, I know. No one saw. There was a dog. Yeah, there's a dog here.
What's it called? No, you go and give him a dap, and like that's the photo. Is the moment of the exchange of that, or the moment where you can really actually connect with them. You know what I mean? You can connect with like how somebody's posture is. You can connect with how, like, you know, you could see like how the Peruvians are just hanging out in front of Los Immortales. Like there's a beauty.
Where I parked, there was like people in chairs just listening to music.
That's beautiful. Shout out to Papa Andres.
I loved it. I was like, "Ooh, yes, do it."
They're just that's the thing, is it's part of the culture. There. It's like, you know what I mean. What I find the most endearing about the city is that it's actually like a cultural mixing pot, and a true cultural mixing pot, because everybody. It's not like we're all in this on fucking High School Musical. It's like, you know, like you go into spaces, and as long as like. For example, like I got invited to my buddy throws a bunch of Dominican parties, and it's at Moncora Lounge. It's nuts. It's just a fucking this is purposeful clipping, but it was, my fucking ears were ringing, dude. I was wearing AirPod Maxes just to like not like lose my hearing. Shout out to Moncora Lounge's sound engineer. Fucking
super loud.
Oh, dude, it was nuts. But like. You go in there and you can go in, and I'm me. I'm like, you know what I mean? I got crazy hair. I'm like walking in fucking sandals, and like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be me.
Yeah.
And I have no reservations of being me. I don't care. But if you go in with that and you have that energy, you will be. I was accepted graciously. People were like, "Yo, dude, like, you just really, really." Like, it's strange though. It's a weird thing. I was actually looking at the photos from In7 from last year, because I just like stopped. I don't know. I just like kept things growing, and I don't know. I feel like it's like kind of worked, but it's like it's weird. There's like a vibe that developed in it. But like you go in and it's like kind of like the universe, man. I don't know. My Russian brother, he had a really good point when we were growing he was when I was doing my first grow. I was doing my grow alone, and he came up to me and he said, "The energy you put in is the energy you see in the plant." He was talking about the plant,
but that resonates another
in everything.
Yeah,
it resonates. It's like the
it's
energy
true.
you put into anything is the energy that you
Right.
see back. So
I mean, listen, if you're in a bad mood, guess what? You're going to see everything in a bad light. If you're, if you're in a good mood, everything is nice. So like just in that simple sense.
You're playing tennis with the eternal.
Just going back to your photos, but then I want to know.
But that's the thing, is I approach everybody very I'm in a moment of non-existence every time I take those photos. I'm not necessarily it's weird because
No, you want to be a shadow. You want to capture the moment. You're not necessarily important, but you are using this tool to capture this moment that no one else would.
Truthfully.
So like you as the person isn't important, but obviously you have to know the composition. You shoot film, or is that?
No, a lot. That's the reason.
Because it looks like film, and it's black and white, right?
Well, no. So no, sometimes it's iPhone. It doesn't I used to be very when I was younger and I was studying film. I was oh, I gotta be Orson. I gotta shoot. I mean, they instill this shit that in film school that they're oh, when you have $20,000 days, and it's the fuck, bro.
Yeah, who has $20,000 a day?
Yeah,
I have $200.
On IMAX 75, and I'm dude, it doesn't matter what the fuck you're shooting on. The phone is fine. A lot of the shit
And
that
at least that's a little less obtrusive than an actual camera, even if it's a small camera.
When I can get the Fuji, I try to get the Fuji, but it's it's what you have. It's not there's nothing. It's what you have, what you can do with it in the time that you can do with it. And that's all that matters. That's really all it is. It's all right, if you know what I mean?
So we didn't really get into it.
John Lennon said, what did he say? He was I'm an artist. If you give me a tuba, I can get you something out of it. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I could, and if I didn't have a phone, I'd probably draw it.
So we didn't really get into a lot besides of my name, and I was born in Poland, and then we skipped everything else. But I'm also an educator. I'm a professor, and I teach mostly video classes, video production and editing, and other classes are in the realm of art, but also using video as the medium and time-based art, basically. But what I tell my students, and I'll tell you, Matt, is that the best camera that you have is the one on you. Yeah. And if it's an iPhone or it's your smartphone, that's it. And the quality gets better and better. I am also old school, like I said, born in 81. Do the math, people. I'm 42 and looking like I'm not. But I still shoot film. I'm an analog gal living in a digital world. I love film. It makes me slow down, but obviously, guess what? I don't have a film camera today, which is kind of strange, but there's my iPhone, not taking photos right now.
But the beauty of the film, and it was weird, that's what kind of got me out of, I was producing music before I started to fully commit to film, to just cinema. And I was using Logic 9, and I was really I was producing a lot of tracks, but there wasn't any you know what I mean? They're just these quantized things, and you have this whole list of, oh, I can do this, and I can do all these things, and I have all the toys in the world. You know what I mean? You're like fucking Charles Foster Kane with that fucking one thing where I have everything in the world, right? But there is a beauty in restriction. So I left Logic 9 and I went to SP, and even with film, so the stakes are higher when you're shooting with film, because it's if you can't get that exposure right, you just lost money. You either lost the piece, you lost money. You know what I mean? So you have a pressure. That's why I like in 7 as well, because there isn't a pressure to actually deliver the piece. You have to be able to get that exposure right, be able to make sure that it's in focus. You know what I mean? Have the composition right, and you know what I mean? not blurry. You know what I mean? You have to like go by these guidelines, or it's just gone. You know what I mean? So you put that pressure on yourself, but that pressure in itself, one is delivering. Like film is such a beautiful medium because it's like lossless. It's just the emulsion, just like hitting light, which is insane. The entire process of film is
I think that's
beautiful.
more magic than actual like zeros and ones to create an image. I'm like, okay, but like, look at this and the chemicals, and I think I like tangible things, even though I'm living in, you know, MP4s, MP3 world. But yeah, there's something about film. I still shoot film. I just dropped off a roll, so that roll was probably $10. I scan it high res. I'm old school, so I like to get fucking prints still, even if it's just 10 photos that come out cool, because sometimes you see things that you see in the prints. So, you know, I'm talking about like $30 a roll in film that I spend. And, you know, I'm not necessarily making money off of it. You know, it's more of a passion and art. But it's like, that's an expensive hobby. And you know, like I tell my friend, I think me and my friend Bob Sherbo, BMX rider who loves Patterson, he's the one that I was asking about. I'm like, do you need more people to live here? Because he loves Patterson like no other. Really? But he's my age and he's creative, but he doesn't consider himself an artist. But I don't know if he would like the communal living situation. But we always just joke, he's also a photographer, putting out some kind of photo book, zine. You should do that too. Yeah, I think going back to your photographs, I think you should make a photo book or a zine, and also have a show with some of your best photos, because I really think there's some good shots there. Oh
yeah. I've been putting them on T-shirts recently. That's the first time I've ever really printed. I'm working on getting a gallery show in Upper Saddle River, but it's.
Oh yeah, I was messaging with that guy. There's a show this Saturday.
Awesome,
can you?
Paul Larson.
Yeah, and what's the name of the gallery?
Paul Larson Gallery.
Oh, Paul, I don't think I'm gonna make it this weekend, Paul. Not that he's listening to this.
This might come out a week.
I know this might come out in September. Just kidding.
Yeah,
good.
They come out about
okay, cool. So I feel like I touched on all the things that I wanted to touch base on. Let's get back to the time constraint, right? When we're thinking about digital, right? I have done it. People have probably done it. I tell my students not to do it. You're driving, you see a car crash, and you like take out your phone and you driving and you burst mode, right? Yeah. So like I could burst mode a drive by a car accident or why am I doing that? I don't know. I don't do it all the time, but like if a car's on fire, sometimes I do. So all of a sudden I get home and I could see the photos, right? Like I could take one out of the 20 bursts, but film makes me slow down. It makes me slow down. So that's what I like about it. Yeah. But let's continue talking about the time restraint when it comes to In7. So you enjoyed the whole 7-day process.
I love it. First year was weird because I wasn't like, I had a thing, I just didn't understand the technical thing of keyframing. Like I'm like I could do it. It was just like I think like just shook out like you have to find a moment of like complete concentration. So I was sleeping there a lot this time. I was like I'm just gonna like do it because it's not a lack of like the thing. It's like that's the thing is with my images too is that like every time I'm posting a photo I'm taking it that day. There's never ever going to be a repost. There's only once in a while I'll post like one that was the day before and it was just preoccupation.
See, I'm almost like the opposite. I'm a later-gram kind of gal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you schedule them?
No, but I just
you have to go through processing and a bunch of different stuff for it.
I do, but sometimes I like, especially my film photographs, like all those Instax film photographs that I just posted.
Yeah.
Those are not retouched. If anything, it's just, maybe some contrast or anything. But I don't retouch those. And that's what I love about film and especially Instax. That, like, when I print them, like, when they come out, I'm just like, this is the shot. I'm not doing anything in post. I'm not touching them. I'm a purist like that. And same thing with even film photographs that like I print out. So like this roll is going to be interesting. I think I need a new camera. Okay. So I hope it becomes something or an art show. So I took a roll of film, 35 millimeter film, turquoise from Lomography. So anything blue is going to turn out orange. So it's kind of cool with the sky. So I shot basically every shot of Jersey City. Kind of funny that I'm wearing this right now. And then I rewound the roll and I put it back in the camera. And during open studios at Jersey City, I have an art studio at Mana Contemporary in Jersey City. Shout out to Mana. I started this film swap with people that would come into my art studio. So I started off with my friends, and then some of my friends that are artists came, so I gave it to them. And my counter is off. Like, I need a new camera for that type of film swap. But then I gave it to a few film photographers and a few artists. So they shot over what I shot. And my premise was, just try to keep it in Jersey City. I don't know what you're doing. It could be a mural. It could be just brick. It could be someone's face. But just try to keep it in Jersey City. So that's the film roll that I just dropped off. And she's like, they're not aligning. I'm like, that's okay. Print them, scan them, and we'll see what happens. So it's a film swap.
That's the thing. That's the shit with art, yo, is that, like, I find like there's a hesitation with a lot of people where it's like, oh, like this. That was my hesitation for a very long time. I was like, yo, I have to be like Orson. I mean, I put like a lot of pressure to be like a great filmmaker on myself, and it's fine to put pressure on yourself, but don't make it be the end all be all of you actually releasing or being able to do it, because I feel like at the end of the day it all just becomes a form of consistency. And when you have that consistency, you're able, when you're like, not like I'm just gonna release crap and put my name on it, you know what I mean? Like that's like, you know what I mean? Like I won't release anything if it's like not like, I'm like, okay, but it can't be like, oh, this is like out of focus a little bit, or like this is whatever. If those hesitations are holding you back, you're gonna fucking never make anything.
And it's kind of funny because like I feel like we only found out about our backgrounds living in LA, working in the film business or studying it. I don't know too much if you worked in it, but you know, we both lived in LA. We didn't know that. I went to LACC for like a writing class. It was an adult writing class. I love that. Like,
what
you
was
went.
It, though? Which were you doing? Just like English, or was it in the cinema program?
No, it was an adult creative writing class. I wrote a lot. I still write. It's kind of funny. I don't know if that was the podcast I was listening to, but like I hear that you also screenwrite, but sometimes you're hard on yourself. So I know that feeling. I started writing in 2011, and I don't put my work out there, and it's 2023. You know, like I write, and it's like I don't know. I write for myself, but like I'm like I can maybe muster up the balls to show people what I'm writing.
Or the pussy.
Or yeah. I was gonna go there, but I feel like you do it better.
Because it's
and then like it would come.
Shout out to Squirrel Rosenberg. He's a silent guest right now, but like, he has no context of what that was.
Yeah, at least that one. At least everything before that moment made probably some sense.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that.
Yeah. Or you can listen to the podcast in a week and know all about the story because we talked about it. But yeah, I don't know. I think the film business, and especially because it is expensive and it's a business, film business, right? That's what I called it, right? Yeah. Film business. But when you're a true artist, like I called you, a creative, you know, money's not really, you know, that's the fucked up part. Money's not really a factor. I'm an adjunct professor. I'm an artist with an art studio living in Jersey City, and I'm a single, you know, lady. Like, can it get any fucking harder? Like, people don't know the hustle and the struggle, but that's what I decide to do. I'm like, these are the things that I decided to do with my life, art and education.
The other thing that my Russian brother said that was crazy. Shout out to Alex Davies. The other thing he said that really resonated with me was the energy you put in is the energy you see. and the other one is it's not a job, it is a lifestyle.
Right.
That is some of the best advice I've ever gotten in my life, is that it's never a job, it is a lifestyle. If it's like, you could work a job, like, you know what I mean? I was a busser, I was like a bartender, you know what I mean? That's a job. Unless you're like, I'm gonna be a mixologist, you know what I mean? You're just like, I really like cracking ice and pouring fucking gin and tonics, you know what I mean? Or doing weird ass Manhattan derivatives, you know? Like, that's a great job, don't get me wrong, like, those guys make mad money. Yeah, mad money. But, you know, that's a lifestyle. They chose that lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. So if you're constant, that's the thing, is the only real, yeah, there he is. It was an affirmation from the streets. It's when, like, you have that consistency. That's when I've seen actual growth in the photography. Is like, I was looking at the earlier photos, I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm like, I have these developing the style. And is the consistency of doing it every day, and it's also like that deadline thing has helped me a lot. Not necessarily like in 7. I mean, like, and 7 has helped a lot too, because I produced a film in 7 days.
I know.
Film is a hard one. Film is photography times 24.
Yeah.
And it's also like writing War and Peace in a bumper car shit. But still, you know what I mean? You have to just be able to make it. I actually get a lot of that principle from, we were talking about Louis C.K. earlier, and how Louis C.K. and George Carlin, and I think Seinfeld, I could be wrong, but they have a philosophy for their stand-up material where they go and they do their special, and they are not allowed to use any of the material that came before the special. So they spend the year going to open mic to open mic. All right, this is a joke. They work it out, you know what I mean? All right, I'm gonna adjust this here. But they run through it through these open mics, and they edit and they craft the material. And once they get to the special, they're not allowed to use any of that material, you know what I mean? Because there are people that are still selling the same fucking dick joke for 20 years.
Right.
You know, but if you have the philosophy that, like, the only art that I am going to release, I will never repost, and I will never, like, you know, like, I'm not like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. You know what I mean? Like, you just end up with this, like, not necessarily, I wouldn't say Citizen Kane, because Orson Welles is a great artist afterward. But you end up just like, oh, yeah, I'm that, you know what I mean? It's like, no, you have to, like, only time is now. You know what I mean? Everything is behind, and the future is not there. It's just all anxiety and whatever the fuck it is.
Man, we're so up in our heads. It's crazy. Sometimes we forget about the now. A few things I want to touch base on. Funny, I make my students in film theory class watch Citizen Kane, so that's funny. And then bringing it back to shit. Oh yeah, one of my students recently, this last semester, is like, "How can I take photos like you?" And I'm like, "You can't. Baby, you're 18, and I started. Obviously, I want to say that I started taking photographs when I started a film class, a 35 millimeter black and white film class, and that was 1999, maybe 2000. So maybe if it was 2000 at Seton Hall University, I got 23 years of experience. And guess what? I still don't get the shot all the time, you know, especially if you're like more of a run and gun kind of shooter, you know, of the mundane moments, the light, you don't have a whole set, you know, and people to help you. But I'm like, this is years of experience. And this is not like that movie, I don't know, I always say it, Limitless, right? Like, you can't take a pill and be like, I'm a professional photographer now, unless it's AI now.
No, fuck that shit.
Fuck.
I don't know, man. That's
I know, it's scary. I don't want to.
It's not scary. You can adapt. You can adapt things. Like, it's a useful tool, and it's like, you know, I'm like, whatever. You'd be like, oh no, this is gonna completely replace my thing. It's like, all right,
it might. They're gonna have to put laws into that, actually, I think.
Well, there's that, but it's like, I mean, I kind of get like the writing and shit. Not necessarily. I'm not supporting the AI writing thing, but it's like the human connection. So at the end of the day, communication is all just the derivative of human connection. If I was a robot voice, do you think that we would have this entire conversation?
Yes, awesome. I think we would. It would be great.
Swallow my gum. Swallow my gum.
I'm gonna forget the person's name right now, but he's a photographer, and he applied to an open call for photography competition, and in his description he said, I used AI, and he did this on purpose, and he was testing the waters, and he got first place in the competition, and he made us think about it. He's like, but guys, I used AI. And then they're like, oh yeah, we knew that, but like he made it a point to use it and tell people to bring attention to it, and then they pulled the first, and rightfully so, right? But like, I like it when people are a little bit more honest about using AI, right? Maybe you need something to spitball, and then like that gives you an idea, and but you're paying for then you're painting it, right? I don't want it to. There was a lawyer that got caught, like,
using AI.
Yes, to write up a subpoena or something, and it was. He got caught. Like, you got to fucking proofread your work.
Yeah.
First of all. And then second of all, maybe it could be a jumping off point. But, like, it shouldn't be the end all.
I don't know. I feel like it's, like... It's just very, like, logically based. So it's, like, the difference between listening to, like, African tribal drumming or listening to something that was made in Ableton. Or like, what I mean? Or not even Ableton, or like, what I mean? That's made in like the computer, and it's completely quantized, and it's like, this is how music is, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, but if you're in a drum circle, not everybody's hitting the drum at the same time, but it's the energy of that, and it's the transfer of energy. It's the whole shit of the whole thing is that like that you can feel that I'm connecting to this random homeless guy in Patterson. In my photograph, right? Or that I'm painting like with very like anger, or I'm trying to release something, and I am distributing that to you, and you could take, and it's the experience of you having your own experience with the piece, and that's really what it is. Is that people can like even like that was the cool thing about the glance, was that people are like I had a friend of mine, and I didn't really distribute it that much because it's not fully edited for me. I mean, I just want to do a little bit of ADR, and I want to do
listen, I get it.
I found some shots to be a little gratuitous. For myself,
I wonder which ones, but
towards the end, I just want to like cut. It's just like there's just too much fat at the end. I just gotta cut. But they're beautiful shots. I love the shots. I'm just very greedy. But I'm like, okay, let's see how this works, and I'm just like, you know what, it can do without this.
Okay, so the glance is the video that Matt created during In7 during that 7-day video residency that we keep talking about, but then get sidetracked. And that was the video that opened up the whole full show. Was it 15 artists, hour and 2-minute running time? Yours opened up the show, and I want to say that it's the final picture. All you need is some sound design work. That's it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going. That is the piece.
Okay, but
that is the piece.
But you're gonna.
I'm cutting like I feel like I'm gonna cut a little bit of the end.
No, the picture. No, that's the end, and that's the final. Yeah, seriously. So, don't.
That's how it is.
I know.
That's how it stays.
I sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I'm like so like, just I tell people how it is. I'm like no.
I don't know. I feel like I want to like. What's going on? I feel like I want to end it on the bench. And like I don't know. The thing is, I really like that book ending. I
do too. And
no one has got the context of it.
Okay, so let's play picture in picture. Oh wait, hold on.
Illuminated.
Put picture in picture. Oh wait, we can't do that.
It's all good.
But
Jamie, pull it up.
Yeah. No, I like the ending, and it makes you think: was it a dream? Was it a memory? Was it real? So that's what that ending does to me as a viewer.
The one thing I really loved about it, so it was actually at the Dominican party, like later that night. So I hadn't really distributed it. I think I posted like a really cryptic link, And I was like, whoever clicks it. And some of my friends clicked it, and they were like, dude, like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Because it had nothing to do with the glance. It was just like, this is the link for it if you want to check it out. So they watched it, and I don't know. My one buddy, shout out to Cheney. Cheney was like, there's like two couples that are a couple that is speaking a different language, and I was like, I thought about that. I just thought it was like that you can connect over something that's so trivial as a cigarette, and there was things that I didn't really, because I rewrote it that morning. Like when I saw the locations, I was like, nah, this isn't it. So I shout out to Neil. Neil gave me the concept of it. I pitched a completely different concept for it. Me, Issa Mal, shout out to Issa Mal.
Oh, Issa. Okay, yeah, we got to talk about that really quickly after you're done with that.
Being a powerhouse.
Wow. What? Actress. I love her so much.
Yeah, wonderful.
You brought her to us. She was like an angel.
Yes.
Okay, so first day of In7, Matt's late. Surprise, surprise. We're already... So we're already in session. Me and Josh are facilitating. We're talking about, things. People are going around talking about themselves. Maybe not yet, but Matt walks in, and he walks in with this actress, Issa. And all of a sudden, we're just sitting, and, she comes around and it's like, I am... been living in Paris, speaking French, and she's like, I'm down for whatever. So that morning before you shot, that started on a Saturday, and then the next day was Sunday. We started shooting with Lauren in the morning, and Issa was in like this toga white dress, a goddess that she is. You were coming a little late, and we were running a little late. Hello, what did I mean by that?
I'm not gonna, there's a very concise drop in this podcast, I don't know, but yes.
So you're running late, and all of a sudden we're done with Issa. We gave her to you. She switched, she changed, and then she was another actress. And I think, your performances were really strong. I mean, I teared up a few times, and I've watched this more than probably most people. I think your performance, and I was there. I was helping, press the... That's kind of interesting that you're taking acting classes now, because it feels like you were just very you. Like, I liked your reactions. I think I kept saying I loved your reactions. We did a couple different takes or times, right? The one that you stuck with, Issa never speaks English. We did another take where Issa kind of speaks a little broken English, and there's a different vibe to that. But your acting was really good. Anyway, loved it.
Yeah,
it opened up the show. People were like, wow, this is what we're in store for. Okay. But I don't know, I'm really happy with the caliber of all the videos. Obviously, you started the show. We ended up with Miguel's. There was, 13 more videos in the middle.
Shout out to the animation chicks.
Oh, stop motion girls, as I call them.
God.
So I told them, I'm like, in the title, I want you to put in how many hours you spent, because they also slept there. They barely drove home. Yeah. And they're like 120 to 130. But then she calculated another day, and she's like, I think 140 maybe.
They didn't stop.
And then I'm like, wait, let me Google how many hours are in 7 days, and it's 168 days. 68 hours, and they worked 130 maybe more. Dude, you barely slept. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to work with those guys.
I mean, I think they need to continue doing this. It's but it's also the thing about Guardianship is they are would have never been able to do this if it wasn't for the space, right? So I had headquarters, as I like to call it, right? We had, desks, we had wardrobe, we had, a white wall with drum set. We had a fridge there, right? So like that was like, people were doing that. But then I also had another space for the stop motion girls, which is Sienna and Danielle, and then they had help from like 4 other people, Jade and someone else. I'm blanking on the name right now. And then Michael from Atlanta also. So like I had people in different little spots. Good thing that we had space for art space, studio space, blank walls, dirty floors to sweep and create on.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful. It's like I said, you're very you have to be like kind of reactionary to the space, but it's very easy to be inspired there. Yeah, just like then I love how nature is like taking part of it. You know what I mean? That's really like what's beautiful about it. It's like even like that it's just like there's like all this like lush green that like, you know what I mean? It's like it's very factory, not a factory, but like
industrial.
It feels like a hangar. Like an airplane hangar.
So for anyone, we haven't really explained anything well from the beginning. So Gardenship is in Kearney, New Jersey, but it's in a little area called Kearney Point. It's off Route 1 and 9. It's very industrial, lots of trucks, lots of old factories, and this is an old hangar. That's where Gardenship is at. That's why it's 90,000 square feet. So it's very industrial. Different things happen in that site. We call it a campus. But it's also, the back of it is 2 rivers that meet. I want to say it's the Passaic and the Hackensack, and then it goes out. And there's something beautiful about, I don't know, maybe we're just a bunch of artistic weirdos that love industry and manufacturing and machines and mixing that with nature and how nature prevails and, how like things are still growing and there's beauty in the industrial. Like a nice mixture. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's for everyone, but like I love that anyone that comes there or goes there is like inspired by Gardenship, like everything inside and the artists and the studios, but then also the outside where it's like nature meets industrial wasteland. I mean, that's probably a super fun zone. I mean, basically I'm pretty sure all of Jersey where we live is a super fun zone, so all toxic, all contaminated, but whatever, we're used to it. We're mutants, I guess, at this point.
So what are your future projects looking like?
Matt, I'm kind of like you. I'm always working on a few different things. Like, back in the day when I was, I think, coming from being 18 to 19 to being an adult, I always thought like, oh, I'm a master of so many things, but not a master of one. And I took that as a negative. But now I'm like kind of embracing the interdisciplinary world of being an artist. So I am basically shooting photos. I told you about that film swap, and hopefully that's something we'll develop. I am editing In 7 Part 3 documentary, which started last year, and it's, things take time. I'm working on some collages. So like, there's a script I've been like starting to write, so it's like
there's a little bit of everything.
God knows what I'm working on. I don't even know. But like, just a whole bunch of different stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Where can we find you on social media?
So my social media handle is Being and Becoming, because I'm a human being and I'm always trying my best and hopefully becoming a better version each day of myself. So Being and Becoming on Instagram, Kasia Skorjrysnwhwmqthyrwicz on Facebook, www.kasiaskorynkiewicz, try to spell that, .com.
It'll be in the title, guys.
13 letters. So one last fun fact before we wrap up. My last name was like extra credit on the spelling test, like, you know, in 5th grade. So all
I
of
was
my
gonna ask.
elementary friends, school friends, who a lot I still talk to or correspond with on, you know how to spell my last name. So Skorynkiewicz. Skorynkiewicz, not that hard. So I got 101 on that spelling test. Imagine I didn't.
Yo.
But yeah, so anyway, you can find me there. Also on Vimeo, Kasia Skorjrysnwhwmqthyrwicz. I have plenty of videos up there, and you know, just gonna continue making, creating, doing, living, being, and hopefully becoming a better version of myself.
Kasia Skorjrysnwhwmqthyrwicz, ladies and gentlemen. Afternoon FM. Stay beautiful, people.